The Whiskey Brothers.
Welcome to episode 1030. I don't even know how to pronounce these numbers anymore. We're your Whiskey Brothers. This is our podcast. I'm Slade Ham. That's Jerry Wayne Longmire. We're at least half of the Whiskey Brothers conglomerate in the studio. We're joined by Paul Oddo, Chuck Savage, two Houston comics, dear friends, former Whiskey Brother, a fantastic artist, and our good friend Jose Pena running back of house. I think that's everybody that matters right now. Sam is in L.A. hanging out with Adam Taylor, and they're out there taking meetings on Just the Bit. And well, it played at Dances with Films. Trey is somewhere. So we raise a glass to. I'm trying to get to the shot. Right. We talk about. We've been off the air for the last half hour, just reminiscing about some old Houston comedy days. To our good friend Brian Hersey, and also to J. Fred Rhetoric, or Gamotes, or however you knew him. We all remember the old Laugh Stop open mic. It has been it's the most legendary breeding ground for comedy, I think, in the nation. I'm sure Boston had something nice. I'm sure there have been some other scenes that had a room that was as formative as this one. But that one in particular on Monday nights hosted some of the most insane personas. We saw at Hersey's service, Larry Simon came back out.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which was even with
and
the mask.
Looked the same.
Exactly the
same.
same.
Close.
Who, if you only remember the joke, I was fucking this apple, and then I was like, apple, turn over.
No, it was.
How does it go?
No, mine's always cling-a-ling, 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 cling-a-ling.
The coins. What is the most? We'll just that open mic, good and bad.
Speaking of Larry Simon, I remember because it was only after maybe a couple of years of me being there and recognizing the different characters and shit, and Larry Simon obviously being one of them. When he would go up, I always liked watching, like, well, let's just say the Lunatics. Yeah. And I always liked watching what they did, just
the train wreck
over and over again.
Remember the Emperor?
Because it was which one?
The Emperor.
Yes.
God,
not everybody don't want to be the same. Yes, I remember the Emperor quite well.
I forgot the Emperor.
Yeah.
It's the fucking Emperor.
But
Giovanni.
The most fascinating thing about the characters like that at the open mic was I would always look at them like a dog like that heard a weird sound, like I'm trying to like twist my head. It's like, what are you doing? Because it's like, do you not understand what is funny, and this is how you're trying to like field test it and shit? Because it would do the same thing every time. So I don't understand how you're gauging whether or not this is negative or positive. I didn't really understand that part.
There's supposed to be feedback and response.
Yeah, but the fluctuation of the response was so interesting because depending on the audience, maybe they thought it was like weird enough to laugh at, and so that'd give them like a strange response. So I remember one night I was watching it, I was like leaning against the bar, and Larry Simon was up, and I was like, I love watching this fucking crazy shit. And I was laughing because of how goofy it was, and because I'd seen it 100 times. And Craig Bischoff comes out from the back room, and he starts like yelling at people while he's up there. He goes, "Do not laugh at him." He kept saying it. He's like, "Don't laugh.
Don't encourage
Don't." It was very much like that.
Yeah.
And Craig is now a teacher, so I know where that instinct comes from. He's like, you're giving him the wrong impression. It's like every
he was
time.
trying to fix Larry.
Yeah, he was trying to do some weird, like, ground level sort of like, no, if we stop laughing, he'll not come here anymore. It's like, you don't understand how stray cats work, bro. Like, that's like
My favorite thing about Larry was, do you remember when Albert DeLeon first showed up?
Yeah.
Yes.
And he would get on stage and look up in the light and mumble, and people just loved it.
Yeah.
Well, none of us could figure out what the fuck he was doing.
I think he's still
and then
doing that.
Yeah.
It was like a few weeks later, all of a sudden somebody's like, hey, Albert DeLeon's in the back, and he's writing jokes for Larry Simon. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yes.
I remember
And
that.
there was a period of Larry
Yes.
Simon where Albert wrote for him that was wild, dude.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to go here. One time I saw David Chuber walk in with a plastic bag, like a big plastic grocery or garbage bag.
Yeah.
He carried it around all night with him.
Yep.
Until he went up like at 1 a.m. or 1:50 in the fucking morning. And he got up there and he said, you know, he this whole bit, and the bottom fucking line was, the punchline was, he pulls this thing out and it says in magic marker, Javi Airport.
Javier.
And he had a visual.
Oh, God.
And he carried that fucking visual around from the time he got there at 8:15 until about 1:15 when he fucking went up finally on stage.
And Chuber couldn't just carry something normal, so it was like
No.
a weird,
Yeah, it was
wild
always
kind
like
of
this, you know.
clutching carry.
It's like when Bob talks about Chuber. He's like, "You call that fucking pitching?"
I remember being in the hallway. Talking to Adam Bloomberg.
To a lot of
Oh,
folks at
remember
home,
Adam.
these names are absolutely meaningless.
Yeah.
I'm so
but they-
sorry. I'm
But
so
but
sorry.
no. But I want to point out that they represent archetypes in your scene.
Yes.
Yes.
You
And
all
also-
know a person in your office or in your open mic scene or something that represents every single one of the people that we're discussing right now.
I almost think it's more appropriate to think of it as like people from high school or college.
Okay,
Is
there
the
you
way
go.
that's the way I think about it. Like these are people that are like I know from like formative years that were like, and I only make the the differentiation because it's by choice that you're there. You know, it's like this is where we chose to spend our free time as opposed to work. That's all. That's the only
Fair.
reason I would make that.
Fair.
But either way, I was chatting with Adam Bloomberg, who's a funny
guy.
nice
I remember
guy.
Adam.
You know,
Funny
he's-
guy,
I
yeah.
think he's moved on to more professional.
Yeah, I saw him.
he
in the
did well in the
doctor's
contest
office,
one
3
year.
years
Yeah,
ago.
he's always been really good and super nice and very quiet. But
yeah.
either way, we were just chatting in the hallway, and David Chuber walking around with, and I'll borrow a line from Homestar Runner. It's like with some bag, the shattered remnants of his former life, it's some garbage bag or whatever, and he's just like sitting there mumbling to me about like, you know, they have these people go up on the mic and. Yeah, they're not doing anything. And I had to turn from the conversation I was having with Adam. I was like, Chuber, what in God's name are you even fucking blathering about? and it was like, just took a line from some movie. And Adam fell out so hard that I just like talked to him. But like, Chuber, nobody knows what you're fucking saying. You're just
Muttering.
talking to no one. You're not even talking to me.
Yeah, but then he discovered Facebook.
Oh,
He could
my
type
God.
out
Yeah.
legible words.
Yes.
That dude.
I know. Don't even go there.
You're like, oh, that's what you were saying. God, I'm glad I couldn't understand it.
That's actually a great analysis.
That's true.
That's a great analysis of like
Fuck.
what is going on.
You
in
were
general.
better unintelligible.
Yeah, right. It's like social media is literally
Voice to the
equivalent
voiceless.
of giving a megaphone to the craziest person you can find.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
Not-
the worst
not like-
open
no,
mic
just
of all
randos.
time.
To all the craziest people you can
Yeah.
find
Yeah.
at one time.
They all
your
get way
voice
more than 5
is
minutes.
equal.
Yep.
Yes,
That's
exactly. Exactly. You get-
Where's the fucking light?
And there is no light.
There's no light on Facebook.
And you know that's what's so fucking insane. What's so fucking insane about that revelation that you come to eventually, where you're like, it all comes back to like time and everything
Time
being
is a
cyclical,
circle, man.
where it just comes back to being like, well, maybe you should have to own land to vote.
Or at least live on some.
Like-
You gotta be.
It's like these
We
people.
should enact some
Yeah.
basic parameters.
As a rapidly aging white man, I like that.
But you look at the whole spectrum of time and the way it just keeps collapsing on itself. You're like, I mean, considering who we're talking about, it's not that crazy.
I was such a naive hick when I showed up to open mic that I didn't know about stage names. So I just thought J. Frederick Reddick had a very convenient fucking like, oh, well, that worked out awesome. I'm
Look
like,
at me,
oh, my
ri-
God, it's Longmire.
rhyming
That's
from
way
birth.
fucking cooler.
Yeah.
I spent my whole life thinking everybody thought mine was chosen. That Slade Ham
You
was
do
a
have-
manufactured.
Well, then I
What's your
learned
real
about
name?
stage names, and then I met Bob Biggerstaff, and I was like, oh, okay, fucker.
Right. But with yours, it's almost like, why would I choose one that gets me fucked with?
Exactly, 100%.
You know,
you would
it's
never
like-
pick Ham. Slade, yes.
Yeah.
But I would at least have put a second.
Sounds
M
like a
on it.
buffet item.
It does.
Right.
It does. Yeah, give me 2 sides of Slade Ham and
Yeah. What would be your
With some
chosen? What
Chuck
would be your
Savage
chosen
toss.
last name? What fits Slade as a thank you? What fits Slade as a
Savage.
like a fucking 13-year-old coming up with a name, and you're just like, what's cool?
Oh, that's a.
So it's like Slade Dragon or some bullshit. It's like Fireball. I don't know.
Hunter.
Yeah, well,
Slade Hunter.
Skywalker would have been my
Slade
first choice.
yeah.
Well, Runner would have been
Slade
good.
Runner.
Slade Runner would have been
Which
great.
works, but
and
that's
has
a
been
grown
co-opted.
perspective.
It is. I'm trying to think of the kid version of me and what he wanted at the time.
Because it really does sound like that would be. You wouldn't choose.
No,
the name
you would
that
have. It would have chosen. It would Slade. I would have picked. But what
Sure.
the surname?
The interesting thing about the way it's spelled is like the band Slade. There's a
Yes.
band called Slade.
Yes.
And that's a cool rock and
Well,
roll
why-
thing.
well-
I give rock and roll props on that.
So rock and roll, not just rock and roll props. When I met Frankie Banali, we did a motorcycle rally together.
said it's my name.
The drummer for Quiet Riot,
Frankie
and
Banali at a motorcycle
we
rally.
ran it. It sounds like a thing you would do to warm up your voice.
Yeah.
Frankie Banali at a motorcycle rally. Frankie Banali at a motorcycle rally.
It really
Frankie Banali
does.
at a motorcycle rally.
It really does.
I tell the joke this way now, but I walk up and introduce myself. I go, Slade. He goes, no, we're Quiet Riot. I go, yeah, but they wrote all your songs.
Nice. Well, while you're thinking of the second, of the proper manufactured name that you would choose, you have a great name,
Fake.
Chuck Savage.
Fake.
Charlie Brown.
But it's fantastic.
No.
Either way, so
Don't
you
give- don't-
so you chose it. That's fine.
I didn't choose it. It was given to me. I got a story. Go ahead. You tell
Please do.
No, you're in the middle of
I'm only
So
asking.
I want you
because
to tell us how you think he got his name, and then I want him to tell you how he got his name, and then I'm going to
It's
read.
better. It's
I'm going
better.
to read how
Never-
Jesse Dayton gave it to him later.
I genuinely have no guess. But I'm only saying it to kind of go around the table and be
Yeah.
like, you have a good name, it fits you. Your name is great, it fits you. I've always had a thing where it's
is.
like my name is like I've never grown
Paul
into it.
Oddo,
It
but you
doesn't-
have a symmetrical name, which is cool.
It's almost like it's a not a palindrome, but the last name is. But either way, it's always been like I don't know how to say it.
I just like
It's-
Odo. Odo feels so definitive.
It
I would
works.
just, if I had your name, I would just, what's your name? Odo.
Do you know about the
You know what I
Cincinnati, the Indianapolis comic named Otto?
I know about the Boston one, which I had to correct when I did the Boston Comedy Festival.
is OTTO though.
Well, his name is spelled just like mine. His name is Paul Oddo, but it's pronounced Paul Otto. And he said, I say my name Otto. He's like, I say my name Odo. He's like, I correct everybody. So do I. it's like meeting each other in like Time Cop. where we're fucking,
Which one
like,
of you has?
canceling
Which
each
one of
other.
you has the first IMDb page?
Well, I won the festival that day.
Nice.
I
Oh,
won.
so he's not even the most famous
was the
Paul
thing.
Oddo in Boston.
That was the thing. I was like,
Or Paul Otto.
and I actually, yeah, either one. I even told him, I was like, well, I won,
Nice.
so I think I get it. I mean, many years ago, but either way. But
You should look at the comedian named Otto. And Tommy and John and I met him on that 50 States tour, and his name's Otto, and he has all these jokes that are kind of like math oriented. He's this scientific,
That
weird,
sounds so
but he's rockabilly.
Oh.
He's rockabilly looking.
That's still-
and still like, but he does all this like math. You'd have to see it.
It sounds like a
ask Tommy and
nightmare.
John.
Sounds like you're designing a person I don't want to hang
no,
out with.
I know. I get it. But he was a fascinating. He spoke in all these like
Does he
palindromes.
also like puns.
Yeah.
like all this like weird.
Yeah.
He was
Does he,
into,
does
like-
he insist that I'm a cisgendered person? Was he just pushing all that shit on me too?
No, a lot of
Like,
his,
what?
a lot of his bits were about the name and how the words are written. It's like a palindrome.
Yeah.
You know, and he had a lot of palindrome jokes
the geometry of the.
of the words and
language.
everything, and there was math involved in it, and it was kind of.
Was
we
it-
all looked at him and said, "Man, you want to smoke a joint?"
Yeah,
That's
he
what I
needs
said.
that.
That's what I said.
Dude, I'm so
I was just
against
like-
all there's a place right next to Madison Square Park near the Flatiron district or Flatiron building there in
Yeah, I
Manhattan,
know where it is.
it's the Museum of Math. And I remember taking a picture of it. It's like I put it on my Instagram and said, "In case anybody wants to not know where I am, I'm not here."
I
Like,
used
this
to
is
be
the
very
fucking-
not math, but now it was presented to me wrong when I was younger.
Yeah. That's what it is.
And now-
they don't sell it to you. in a
we
fun
all
way.
figure out how to use it.
Yeah, but you know where they
can
convince you? In that math museum. That's
Maybe. They didn't seem to be a lot of big-titted ladies.
doing
but-
equations out
Yeah.
front.
Hey, the Flatiron building. Just quick. Do you remember art installation ever where there was look like a bunch
The
of,
fucking guys
on top of the
on the
buildings?
buildings?
Yes, that is fucking creepy.
That was the coolest thing I ever saw.
Was it still
in
there?
New
Is it
York?
still there?
No, it was like
okay. So
I
wait,
saw
I'm
that.
going
I
to
saw
need you
that.
to explain the coolest thing you ever saw, and then we're going to come
the
find
cool-
out where Chuck Savage got his name.
not the coolest
we're
thing I
going
ever
back
saw,
there? Okay, good.
but it was the coolest art installation I ever saw.
was
Let me
cool.
put it that
It was
way.
cool.
That's
Okay.
a better
You
phrasing.
explained it better than I could because I just saw it
So
once.
you're standing at the tip. So
Flatiron Building.
Flatiron Building, the
Yep.
tip ends up being like where Broadway and 5th kind of intersect and kind of go the wrong way. Right at 23rd Street is where it is in Manhattan. And they are very art positive with the whole like area. The Madison Square Park's there, and there's always installations.
Real quick.
and shit.
Explain why it's called the Flatiron Building, because it's on a corner
Yeah.
like that, and they built a building just goes up like that.
It's a triangle.
It's a triangle.
It's that
building.
triangular
It's called
building.
the Flatiron Building. That's why it's
It's-
like that.
it's
because
iconic.
It's built onto a corner where the two roads kind of got fucked up.
Yeah.
And they meet wrong, so they took full
an
advantage
acute
of the land.
angle.
Yeah, it's an iconic building.
Yeah,
Anytime
go
you
ahead,
would
sorry.
see, you would know when you saw.
Sorry
it.
to interrupt.
No,
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah.
But either way, so they tend to do art installation type things around this area because it's a big tourist area.
Right.
Anyway, so they did this weird art installation, and I don't remember the name, but it was just life-sized, like human sculptures, right? So you would have one across the street from the tip of the Flatiron Building, just a person standing there, just like a full-size person, not a person, but a sculpture of a person. And then you would stand there looking at it, right? And then all of a sudden, many blocks away, on the top of a building, you would see the silhouette of a person. And then you'd see the silhouette of another person on another top. So they would put these sculptures of people,
To
life-size
direct your
people. You would just notice them
Yeah,
on the tops of buildings.
And it looks like somebody's about to
Ins-
jump off the
ins-
fucking
yeah.
building.
Well, that's my question.
That's what it looks
looked
like.
like that. And all the way to like being, I'm talking like 30 blocks away.
Right.
You would see down the fucking street on Broadway. You
Suicidal
would see
statues.
way down a guy standing on the ledge, so it looked like jumpers everywhere, and it was everywhere, and it
was.
fucking was freaky.
But it was around the Flatiron Buildings where it kind of
Yes.
originated. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
I'm
remember
glad you
going
saw
there
that.
and watching that and being and just like observing it, and other people that like be taking pictures like, there's another one. But it was so
There's some
weird.
poor guy who's just been waiting to be talked out of suicide
Yeah.
for 3 weeks.
Right. Yeah.
Just
Or
standing
that-
up there.
or
and
I mean,
Today's the day we're all doing
nobody's
it.
even paying attention anymore.
that could
Fuck!
be that could be the exclamation point on the end of the installation.
That's gonna
cops
be
didn't
the
even
dude
come.
that actually jumps off the Flatiron.
Yes, because
Yeah.
no one stopped.
Yes, and there was one on
Hey,
the
y'all
top
hear
of that,
that
too.
behind us?
It was
Did it
haunting.
I'm
desensitize
glad
New
you saw
York
it.
to the
Yeah.
jumpers?
It was very haunting. What
Did
were you
everyone just desensitize? Oh, they're just not jumpers. They're just statues.
Yeah.
Somebody
no-
explained it to me. I was walking with somebody that explained to me what it was. That's why I knew. But at first, when you saw it, it was like they were fucking with me. But I think maybe I'm making that up. I don't know.
Which
but
part?
My friends were going, "Look at that. What is that?" And they were pointing out the people standing on top of the building.
Right.
It looks like somebody standing up there about to jump. Is what it looks like to me. Hey, there's another one over there. And they said, "What?" And they finally explained to me it was an art installation.
How many good people stopped their cars, ran upstairs, and went to have a conversation with the mannequins?
You
About
can't get
art.
up-
About art.
You can't get up there.
Well,
That's the
Jesse
thing.
Dayton told a story in his book.
Very similar story. Yeah.
I do want to hear this story while we have Chuck on the air with us. Where did Savage come from? My guess is
Yeah.
that it's a radio name.
No, it's not. It's really weird, and what's funny is
Skinned a bunch of people alive.
no, the guy that okay, all right,
Just real
look,
fucked up.
that was one weekend.
You saw
That's
Predator,
it.
right?
Yeah, happens in Vegas.
Like
whatever.
you've never been to Brazil. Settle down.
Yeah, settle down. But anyhow, no. When I was a kid, I lived in the suburbs. All right, I lived in the north suburbs, and I had a band, and I was trying to come down there and play with my little band called the Missiles. All right, in my 20s.
That's a good name.
Have you ever seen any of the videos? They're incredible.
The Missiles?
We were actually called the Heat-Seeking Moisture Missiles, but it wouldn't fit on the T-shirt.
Wait, the heat-seeking oyster missile?
Moisture.
Moisture missile.
Because we were like
Like a dick
Oh,
slate.
yeah,
Like a
yeah.
dick,
No,
like a
I got
dick.
you. I got you.
It's
Missile was phallic.
Oyster works though.
That's
like you're
that's
going
where
into
I-
we were
that's
like
where
a college rock
clam. That's where I was. That was
You
totally
know,
wrong mollusk.
college rock band.
Bivalve.
feel
covered
like
in beer,
pussies.
and everything. So the bottom line. So we got this band, and we're trying to promote this band. And so
Hit him with the paddles or something. We're gonna lose him before this episode's
I
over.
had a giant PA, so I started renting the PA out to bands, and all of a sudden I got involved with this promoters down off of a Harwin. Okay, and right there. Okay.
My friend.
And there were two of them. Okay, get this. Okay, and I mean this, and this is I appreciate this man. I'm gonna tell you the truth. One guy's name was Clyde Allen. All right, and he and I were like we ran around together smoking weed a lot, and I would basically go down there in the afternoons and try to book my sound company or my band, whatever I could book. I need to make some fucking money with this PA gear I had and this band I had, you know. So I was hustling in my 20s. All right, and I meet these two. They're black promoters basically, and one was Clyde Allen, and the other one's name was Saron Kyles. Okay.
Saron.
Saron. Sirron.
Oh, I thought this was
Kyles.
Sir Ron.
Well, that's what it sounds like, doesn't it?
A knighted Ron.
But
Yes.
it's Saron Kyles.
You don't want to watch that movie?
I do.
And tell me how
Sir
much.
Ron.
Listen, he had another ID that said Robichard Van Quellen. Just so we're clear. Okay.
Robichard Van.
But the point is this. The point is, though, we went in there, and I took my band in there one day. I've been trying to work with some sound gigs with them. I said, let me bring my band down here, meet my band, because I want to book some gigs. And I'll tell you this, these guys that I've opened for, when I was a kid, when you guys were fucking in junior high or elementary school.
I wasn't fucking in junior high.
Well, whatever. I opened for.
But I
I see
was
what you
not
mean.
getting fucked in junior high.
I
Same.
opened for Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels at Fort Hood, Texas, out on a big football field on a big stage that was booked by this group, Saron Kyles. And actually, the guy that booked it was a guy named Doug Supernaw, famous country
Oh, I know
singer.
Doug
He's the one
Super.
who whipped all them Katy cops on his
So
porch.
Doug Supernaw was a booking agent at this agency. Okay, he was in there slumming like me, just trying to find somebody who wanted to do some work. I'm talking to anybody that'll talk to me about being in the entertainment business, and so was he. Him and his wife were booking gigs, and they booked that gig for me to play at opening for them at Fort Hood, big military deal, football stadium and everything. So when I took my band in there to first meet Saron, we were sitting in there, and he was the guy that did it. He goes, "You good and everything, but your name, Charlie Sanders." No. He said, Charlie said, no. Charlie Sanders Jr., no. He said, "He's something like a Chuck Savage." And he just spit it out right then. And the guys in the band started laughing at me. I go, "Yeah, I used to be called Chuck Savage." They were like fucking with me. Like when we left there, especially, we drove away from that meeting. It was like, "Oh yeah, the best part of the meeting was you should be called Chuck Savage," you know. And then so later on, we did this one song where it had a little rap piece in it, and we went from rock to rap for like this one little segment. It's called a song called Cabbage Head, about somebody shoving acid in your mouth and you turn into a cabbage head that night. But at one point it turns into this rap song, and at that point I just said it. I wrote it in the song. I just said, "Well, you know who I am? Well, I'm Chuck Savage. Everything I say, I seem to mismanage. Thanks to my friends here, my head's like a cabbage, but that's okay. I don't think there'll be any Dane Bramage." And that was the line in the song, and that's where it started. And I used that name ever since then. When I started doing comedy, I said, "Well, I'll use my Chuck Savage name," because I told Don Learned this story, and he really appreciated it. Don Learned, laugh spot guy. You know, some of the shit I talked about on stage, and about all the drugs and all that kind of crazy shit, you know, I got respect for my father, you know what I mean? And so, like, you know, wouldn't want to put his name through that. I'd rather be Chuck Savage telling that shit. So the whole time I was a comedian, I really was actually more of an actor. I've always been an actor. I was a guy acting like a comedian named Chuck Savage.
Yeah.
And that's why you've noticed my act was always a script. There wasn't a whole lot of improv. There wasn't a whole lot of changing it up. I had my little act I did, and I went out and did the same act every time because it was a script.
Yeah.
Are you credited on?
You saved my ass one night when you showed up as Buck Savage.
Yeah, that was easy. That was just acting.
Cowboy hat. I'm Buck Savage.
It was just acting,
Are
though,
you
wasn't it?
are you credited on Mitch's
beautiful.
album as Chuck or Charlie?
Chuck Savage.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
Sure.
kept the comedy.
I mean, basically in all comedy, I've always been Chuck Savage. In music, if I'm playing guitar, I'm Chuck Savage because I kind of suck. So it's like, you know, if I'm playing bass, I'm Charlie Sanders Jr. because I'm pretty fucking good at it.
Really?
You know, and
So why I don't change my name? I was going to change my name for a long time. I'm a junior, Jerry Wayne Longmire Jr.
Yeah.
But then I realized I really dislike my father, and so
So you want to do
I'm
that.
trying to make sure now that anytime he Googles Jerry Wayne Longmire, he can't find dick about his quality control career.
oh, see what Spike
I like
does.
that.
I've got him on
as
the
a
fourth page right
motivator?
now of
that's
Google.
fucking badass, bro. I get it, and that's fucking badass.
Bumped your dad down to the fourth page. That's brilliant. That's the kid equivalent of going out for cigarettes and not coming back. Strong. Chuck, you have a new album coming out. I want to talk a little bit about Paul's art as well. Will you play something for us? Will you jam a little bit?
I'll play one little tune here. I have not rehearsed anything.
You don't have to rehearse. You don't have to play. I'm just offering it up if you do want to play something and pump the album a little bit. I know it's coming out. You can hear Chuck on the intro to the Whiskey Brothers. It's very brief because we had to chop it up.
Yeah.
But that song is so spectacular, and you don't have to play it. You can play something.
I've got a new
different.
video out on the Facebook. Maybe we'll just promote that instead. If you go to my Facebook page, Chuck Savage Facebook, it's called Germany, and it's by a band called Horseshoe, and
Isn't that Greg
Greg Wood.
Yeah.
Greg Wood wrote that. You know, and
You
Greg.
turned me on to him with the Kinnison song.
Yes, you did a
Listening
long
to
time ago.
Kinnison.
Greg Woods is a phenomenal songwriter. He lives in on a farm
Ash
out
Wednesday.
Ash Wednesday's a great album. I mean, that's that album Jesse Dayton and I produced together over on Greg Wood.
It's not what Jesse said.
Yeah, exactly. No, and you're funny. It's funny. You're right. But I have the original. I got the original fucking. I've got the original fucking album art.
You turned me on all
where
that
it
shit
says
like
this. It says
15
this.
years ago.
Produced by. It says produced by Charlie Sanders Jr. and Jesse Dayton in that fucking order because it was my idea. The whole thing was. I put it together. You know, and the guy's a brilliant songwriter. I mean, like I know a lot of songwriters. I know a lot of good songwriters, and this guy is a phenomenal songwriter. That song Germany is just one of his songs that it was on their first album. The band called Horseshoe was in Houston, and just a great songwriter band. And Greg Wood was the guy, and he is the guy. He's still alive and everything. He just lives. He's retired out on a farm out there by Sealy out there in that Germany.
Boy, that sounds like
You
a dog
said
who
it-
got put down. Yeah, he lives out on a farm down in Sealy.
Yeah,
You
well-
sent it to me the other night, and I was driving, or the other day, and I was driving from somewhere, and so later that night, me and Rachel were having some drinks in the kitchen, and I was like, "Hey, Chuck sent me his new song," and she's like, "Fuck yeah!" And so we put it on the home pod and cranked it up, and really enjoyed the fuck out.
It's
of
an
it.
interesting video, isn't it?
And it's a killer jam too.
Yeah,
I fucking love.
And
the
that one's
song.
and that one's actually just kind of a poppy little song. I've got some rock and roll songs on this thing. I've got some.
So what is
jazzy
it? What's
stuff.
what's the vibe on the new record? What is it? Is it
Well, I've got like
does
that,
it run the gamut? Is it kind of
It runs the gamut. It's got some Steely Dan type stuff. It's got some blues on there. It's got a lot of blues. It's got a lot of Steely Dan type stuff. It's got some political stuff on it. Which is that Germany song is kind of a political song, and
But it still plays true today.
And that's
that
the
song
thing.
was written a long time ago.
back in the
That's good. It's
'90s,
got a good
back in the
feel.
'90s, and it plays real good. And I put together just a cheap little slideshow video for it. It's called Germany, and it's on my Facebook page, Chuck Savage. And go there, you can watch it, and let's just do that. Let's just encourage people to watch it because it's supposed to make people think.
Chuck's like, I'm not touching this goddamn guitar.
That's cool. I
Yeah,
get it.
even, I'm in the third shot of this freaking whiskey over here.
You're not in the
you know.
mood. You're not in the mood. I get it.
I feel you. Paul, paint us a picture.
Yeah.
Here, I brought my
I need
oil
a
paints.
peacock and a pelican fucking right now.
I had a hard time with that, so I did it.
But don't make it look like that girl's gonna get mad at you.
Right. Right. I did a show at the Moon Tower thing that just went on in Austin, and they had me as a part of it because it was like an art-themed show. So comics were up on stage, like painting on a canvas while they were doing it. They're like, "Whoa, you do art?" So I did it. I was like, "All right, I'll do that. That's fine." And they had me close the show and all that stuff. And I was like, "All right, well, don't introduce me as a person who does art. Like, I don't want to do that." So it was like a little canvas where people were painting, but the comics were just kind of dicking around. They were trying to be like, "I don't know how to make this work at all." It's just
Did anyone draw a dick?
yeah, I think a couple of them did. Just trying to go for a goof.
100%.
But so I knew it was going to be a theme. So once I knew it was going to be a theme, I was like, all right, I'll figure out a way to do this. So what I did was I have a joke or a bit or whatever that ends with the sentence, "I don't have an owl," which you
Yes,
know.
yes.
And so I've done a painting of an owl.
Yes.
So I took that painting and I was like, I'll just do a quick, like a gestural painting of an
Fucking
owl.
Archimedes.
So
and
yeah,
all
so what I did was I took the fucking canvas thing off. I was like, I'm just gonna hold it and paint. I was like, and I even told them, I said, I'm gonna hold this and paint because I can't do the two at the same time. But I'm just gonna tell you that I'm painting a bird, just so you know. So I just said that to the audience. It's like, I'm painting a bird. I'll show you at the end. And so then I did my whole act, and at the end, I had a really good set, and it was fun. And it was weird how good
The bird was?
Well, no. It was weird how good the set went doing multiple things.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this helps me focus on something else.
Right.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Do you enjoy that sort of smashing
oh, dude,
of?
I totally cheated it. So what I did was I held my phone, which has a sticker of the painting. So I've done this painting already, but this is my own painting, so I can cheat from my own work. That's
oh,
fine.
yeah.
You were
So-
singing a cover of your own
So
song.
I
That's
held
it.
the painting and the little canvas in my.
Hey, you just brought a teleprompter,
my arm.
Ozzy.
And
Yeah,
I just
but
and
how
I just
funny would it have been if it had turned out to be a dick?
right.
If you had just lied
Actually-
to him
actually
and
way
it had
less
been
funny.
this really beautiful
Unfortunately.
dick.
A lot of
That would've been
real
a great
veiny
dick.
and vascular veiny.
shading.
You know?
So I held it that way and just kind of like did a gestural version of this. And so at the end of the show, and right at the punchline, I said, "And I don't have an owl," and I just held up an owl in front of them. and it was like a recognizable owl
That's
to the
strong.
audience. They were like, "What the fuck? You like
Like
paint-"
you did a magic trick.
Yeah, it
Like-
was very much like a magic trick because I was like, well, I've been doing 10 minutes of stand-up and painting a thing,
This is like
and then
playing
my
poker with
punchline
two
is, and
fingers.
I don't have an owl, and
And
I
I
held
have
up
an
a painting
owl.
of an owl, and everybody was like, what the fuck? And it was a really fun set.
That's cool.
And it was just a disposable one-time set.
Could you
I'll
ever do
never-
it again though?
I have no interest in doing that, but it was just like it was.
What
it
happened to
was
the
just-
painting? Did they sell it?
I left it there. I don't know. It was bullshit. It was like some garbage paint, and nobody was holding on to any of this shit. It was just like some. It was all the paint that the other comics had like dipped into too. So I had to just grab like whatever.
Green, white.
Yeah, it was like it was
Greenish-
all just kind of a
greenish.
brownie
Yeah.
whatever, and I just kind of did a thing, but it was at least enough against white that you could see that it was the,
Right.
An owl.
gesture of
Enough
an
for
owl.
the ta-da.
There's
Yeah,
this-
it was enough to see in the back that it was an owl, and like that's kind of enough. And I was
cool.
kind of happy with that enough to be like, I didn't know if I could make that work.
What's
But,
the pressure of closing a show like that, though? Did anybody else, like, were they painting real...
Nobody was painting anything correctly.
Nobody
or-
did
or
that
trying
upside
to
that
do-
thing where they throw a bunch of paint on
No,
something and flip it over and it's Michael Jordan.
No, because they were just
That's
making it
Dan
like.
Dunn, by the way, from Houston, does that.
Yes.
Speed painter, Dan Dunn, very talented guy.
I bet there's a lot of speed painting people that do amazing shit, and I would never even try.
But
in
could you
100
learn to
years do
speed
something like
paint and do?
No.
Think about this.
Yeah.
that. I
if
could
you
never
could-
learn to
yeah.
speed paint. First of all,
If you
Okay.
could paint
And
your
Well, not with that
punchlines.
fucking attitude.
I have no interest.
But
yeah.
what if you
Paint
could
your
learn?
punchlines,
If you
Paul.
could speed paint
Yeah.
6 paintings during an hour headlining set.
I wish I could paint 6 paintings in 6 weeks.
But that's if you could speed paint.
and whip
you-
out every 10 minutes, whip a painting
And every
out.
10
Something.
minutes,
What about a
you
punchline?
sell another $1,000 painting to somebody in the crowd.
I mean, hey man,
Would you
if-
learn to speed paint if you could make, say $20,000 a show?
If it worked once, if I was able to do it once, I would contemplate doing it more.
So would you try doing it once?
Oh, of course.
All right,
I
let's.
would of course do it once.
Let's book
just to
the
try.
show, Slade.
But you gotta get the
Somebody
show
call
together.
Dukes and Humble.
Paul's going to be at Rogers 620 or the Secret Group 625.
Yeah, I would love to do
There's
it.
this band I really got into for a minute called Cloud Cult, and the lead singer's wife is an incredible painter,
Okay.
and his drummer's a painter too. And so during their concert, they have this tapestry spread out behind the band, and these two will paint a mural.
Wait, the
during
drummer paints during
the
the.
drummer
Like
takes
this?
breaks.
It's
and
amazing.
paints
It's amazing
with
to me.
her during the entire concert, and when they get done, they raffle it off, and it all goes like charity and shit.
That's cool.
because they're like
It's amazing to me that
really
people do
nice
that.
people.
Yeah,
Imagine all the paint on that drum kit, though.
It's
Oh
amazing.
my
I
God!
love that fucker.
It's
No
am-
drop.
Well, he's
off.
not a very good drummer. I will say that. It's not a percussion. It's more.
He's
of
almost
a,
like
This
it's
is more of a folk group project.
I
You know?
got you.
Okay, he's basically in the Blue Man group.
Yeah.
This isn't Neil Peart.
It's
He's not
yeah.
up there like banging it out to Tom Sawyer or anything, and also fucking
Flames off
painting.
the cymbals.
This
nothing
is
like
a song
that,
that has like 3 drum beats.
He's
in
no
it. You know what I
Zoltan.
mean?
but he's good at the other thing,
Yeah.
right?
But
That's
hell of
the-
a painter. Hell
That's
of a
great.
painter.
It's the same way I think about Daniel Day-Lewis. Like he's like a fantastic actor,
Cabin builder.
but he's always out there cobbling. He's fixing shoes. That's his thing that he does on the side. It's like I always am like, dude, I hope they're good.
Can you?
Like I really do.
Can
'cause-
you just get your shoes fixed by Daniel Day-Lewis?
Yeah. And how bizarre would that be? Like you're the fucking guy from There Will Be Blood.
Right.
I just need a.
You're the
this-
butcher.
These are Red Wings. I'm trying to.
These are moccasins. I
Turn
saw
these,
last of
turn
the
these into a
Mohican.
9D.
Yeah. And what if he sucks at it?
That's
Where you're just like, you put heels on my Nikes.
but you
bro."
put nails through the top.
Yeah. He's
This is
like, he's great at it. He's great at acting. Not that good at fixing shoes.
It's my art.
Yeah. And that's what he
You
does.
picked the wrong art, bro.
That's what he does.
The right shoe's really good. The left one's fucked up.
Oh, it's all.
He like went out in the woods and built
Well
a
done.
cabin from hewn logs and shit.
Okay, that's we would not hang out in a bar.
No, there's no hanging. I feel like Daniel Day-Lewis is probably a difficult person.
Well, he's busy cobbling.
I think he probably doesn't even like him.
Yeah, any like real hardcore, like
Cobbler.
deep, impressive, like from a distance artist is probably an issue to be around. I would.
Yeah.
I always like when they talk about the method actors because I can't remember the actor that said it, but the actor that walks in like, didn't you just try acting?
Yeah. Oh, that was.
There's these
let me ask you-
incredible method actors
who-
like throw
I
themselves
have a
into
name.
it.
I have a name in mind. Who do you think is the Daniel Day-Lewis of this generation, the past 10 years?
You talking about acting specifically?
Of
Yeah.
this
I
generation.
would think Daniel Day-Lewis,
But
but
no, I'm saying he's
the
yeah.
modern day Daniel
Who's
Day-Lewis.
Who's
that
a new
Shea
one?
Bischoff
Yeah,
kid was
yeah.
the what's his name? The weird one.
I don't watch enough stuff.
Well, hang,
to
so
know.
movies or
Shea
TV?
Boya, Shea
movies.
Boya.
Movies.
Okay, so
I have a
hang
name
on.
in mind.
I'll get there. So who is
Shia LaBeouf. That's it.
Sh-
I couldn't think of it.
Shia LaBeouf?
He's
No.
a weird little fucking dude.
Yeah, yeah.
The Batman kid died.
No.
The Joker, Heath Ledger. He would have been. Who is the modern day? I'll bite. Who?
Okay, I'm gonna say this, and you guys are gonna go, "Oh, fuck that asshole," and whatever. You know, but it's. I think Tom Hardy.
Oh, I can.
I love. I just finished
He's a
Peaky
very strong
Blinders.
actor. He's a
Alfie
very strong actor.
Solomon is the greatest character that's ever been breathed
Tom
alive
Hardy's
through
really
words.
strong. I saw. You ever seen the movie
Holy
he
fuck.
did before James Gandolfini died?
Which one?
It's set in New York City, and it's like he's in a bar. I can't remember the name of it, but he works in a bar. He's a barback in a bar, and he's real quiet.
Not Venom.
And Gandolfini owns the bar, and it's a mob drop place.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
drop money. They drop.
I know
money.
the movie you're talking about, but I don't remember the name.
Oh my
You
god!
ever seen Legend? About
Was it The
Cray
Drop?
Brother? What he's talking
Yeah,
about?
the drop. It's called the drop. Okay, go watch that movie.
Did you watch Bronson?
Bronson? Sure, you gotta love Bronson.
Fucking fun.
But,
Yeah, it is fun.
Legend,
You get to
Legend's
see a
killer.
lot of his
That's what
penis
it-
if you're
what-
Cray
interested in
Brothers.
that.
Trey
Yeah.
Brothers, that's killer.
Those people in England still really talk about those
Yeah,
two
yeah,
motherfuckers.
and
You
that's
know what
that's
I
a
mean?
great movie as well. And he's got one more that's really
Justice.
good too. Have you ever seen the one called? Oh shit! Basically, what it is, the whole movie is him by himself in a BMW X5 driving from this concrete project he's been working on to London to be with this girl that he got pregnant, and he's
I
trying
have
to.
not
He's
seen
having these
that.
conversations
I've not
with his
seen that.
wife and family about why he's not coming home. And I'm gonna tell you something. It's Tom Hardy in a car, the entire fucking movie, and you're engaged the
It's
entire
called
time.
I Wish I Was in a Phone Booth.
I
Right.
just
It's
finished
called
Peaky
Lock.
Blinders,
It's called
and he
Lock.
shows up in the very last episode as Alfie Solomon's one time, and it's so fucking.
I've
you're
heard
like,
nothing but good
Wasn't he
things
the?
about it.
He was at the beginning of Peaky
Yeah,
Blinders.
he's Alfie Solomon's all throughout.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest characters that's ever been written, man. It's just incredible.
That's a
This
strong
old
actor
Jewish
right there.
gangster.
That's a strong. The guy that can have you watch him in a BMW for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you're engaged in the whole fucking thing. He's a strong fucking actor.
Well, what's the movie? Is it Warrior, where he's the fighter?
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
And
I
he's-
forgot
he was
it's-
that guy.
As far as being a shitty kind of B movie, he's incredible in it. You're like, oh my god, damn.
I like that movie.
Yeah.
I guess I just don't know that we exist in a time where someone can be like
Brando.
Daniel Day-Lewis
Or Brando,
or whatever. I don't know that that's possible anymore.
Maybe
I-
it's good.
because there's too much media.
Well, it's
Flux,
it's
yeah.
diluted in a strange
Well, there's not gonna be
way.
another Elvis. There's not gonna be another.
But then again,
There's
you
a
see
amount
somebody
of saturation
Right.
that's occurred.
you have like these weird peaks and
Yeah.
like these peak experiences or peak people.
You had whatever Joaquin Phoenix did on David Letterman that time.
Right,
That
and
was like the last time I think we could be tricked.
I would say Billie Eilish is the latest one that I can like wrap my mind
Ooh.
around.
I'm a fan.
Where it just kind of like came up out of nowhere. It was literally just a wave. Like there's no reason for you to be this famous.
Right.
She's good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I'm sure there's a fucking million people that are better than you at what you do.
You're just flopping
but
around
it just
on the
kinda
floor
like
and singing
rode the
stuff.
wave or whatever, and she knew how to cultivate it. But there's a thing where it's like this is this like it's a more than three-dimensional concept of like fame and people's like perception or whatever, and it's just this weird bubbly idea,
Mhm.
and people
All the
end
lenses gotta
people
line
end
up.
up just riding that
And
crest.
because
somehow.
of that, it circles back to the same thing we started this fucking conversation about. Just make cool art.
Well, and
That's
that's
the best.
right.
That's the best.
all you
That's the
can
best.
do.
That's the best thing you can hope for.
But
Just to make cool
that
art.
book-
You talk
the-
about Tom Hardy. I'm always enraptured with people that ride these waves that are actually like fucking good. These people that you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I just want, we see a lot of people get famous that you're like, how the fuck is this happening? I don't understand. This.
I didn't understand
And maybe at my age, I'm starting to see more and more of it where I'm like, I don't understand. This
I didn't
fucking
understand
shit.
Lady Gaga, but I do now. I didn't
Yeah.
understand.
love
I didn't
her.
understand what's his name. The guy
Justin
that
Timberlake either.
owns, the guy that owns the phone company. What's his name? Came out in the National Lampoon movies early on.
I don't know.
He's
The
in the
phone company.
Hitman's bodyguard.
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. I didn't understand him when he came out because he was trying to come out. They were promoting him as Saturday Night Live, I was like, fuck that. Saturday Night Live is Dan Aykroyd and
Right.
and Bill Murray, you know.
And he had this weird thing where he was like better than Saturday Night Live.
Right.
Where he like had this odd.
But now I really get it.
situation.
I get the dude's pretty fucking
Right,
talented.
he's great.
Yeah,
He's
he's
very
great. Yeah,
talented.
so that's the point. You know, it's like you ride these things, and I'm older than you guys, so generationally you see it go this same
Well, of
way.
course,
you know?
that's the way
I
it
told
works.
Rachel like 8 years ago when Miley Cyrus was going through all her shit.
Yep.
I was like, this kid, she's gonna be fucking like Celine Dion. You don't understand. She's gonna get her shit together and she's gonna get through this part. Dolly Parton's her godmother, for fuck's sakes. She's gonna get through this part and she's gonna be incredible. And Plastic Hearts is a fucking smoking killer album.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known that. Now I know.
But you have not heard Plastic Heart?
I have
dude,
not.
it's
I had
fucking-
a
she
fun
drugged
thing.
Not
I
my
wanted to
jam.
say
It's
She
not my
drugged
jam,
Billy
but-
Idol out of retirement.
I like that.
I'm
Yeah,
a.
and
Well, maybe
he's
I
still
have.
got
I'm
the
a.
Scream. He's still got the Scream. He's like 900 years old.
Is that her
He's still
newest
got the
one?
Scream. Yeah, Plastic
Okay,
Heart.
I liked her old
She's
stuff.
got
I'm a-
Stevie Nicks.
She's
Stevie
got that
Nicks,
gravelly
Billy
voice
Idol,
and some.
He was really good when he came
Joan
out.
Jett. Joan Jett's on there.
Man, I hate that I forgot the thing I was gonna. Either way, okay.
well,
Sucks.
we're gonna have to put a pin in this. Is there anything we did not cover from the Flatiron Jumpers art exhibit to Neil Gaiman's Make Cool Art? There is. Oh, there's so much stuff here. Old Laugh Stop open mics. We covered
J. Fred.
We
Brian
covered
Hersey.
Brian Hersey. Let's drink
in
to
peace. Yep.
Lost Houston Soldiers, shall we? In a beautiful scene that sired many, many, many of us. Thank you very much to Mary Whitaker, the New Riff whiskey, straight from Kentucky.
Yeah, really
I
nice.
like
the
it.
northern part.
I like it.
Big fan of the bourbon. We murdered about half this bottle.
About 2 in, I decided I really liked it.
And we're not
Bravo.
finished.
Yeah.
We're not exactly finished, are we? I
No,
don't think
we're hanging out, Chuckles. We got Rye to get through us next week. Thank you to Jose Pena, working back of house very sincerely. More Whiskey Brothers continue every single Monday. You get us on Tuesdays and Fridays as you're listening. New stuff from Jerry on TikTok if you're following. Oddo is easy to follow. EAUXDDEAUX.
Think
Same
French
thing.
Odo.
Ode
It's super easy.
Doe.
EAUX.
Cajun style. Chuck Savage, you can find him very easily. Just Google Chuck Savage. There are no others. If you Google Charlie Sanders, you're going to find his dad. I am Slade Ham on all good things. Lots of Paul's in a new episode of Slade Runner coming out very, very soon. And a bunch of other stuff. You know where to find us everywhere online. We'll see you guys on another episode soon.
I believe in good whiskey, and I believe in good times.